After the president signed two new executive orders attempting to limit birthright citizenship. One order involves so-called birth tourism, when pregnant women come to the U.S. specifically to have their babies. The other would limit eligibility for some non-citizens, including children born to foreign diplomatic staff. Back in June, the Supreme Court blocked the president's first attempt to end birthright citizenship with a much broader order that he had done. Let's bring in NBC News senior Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley and NBC News legal analyst Misty Marris is with us. Julia, I'll start with you. Do we know exactly how many pregnant women every year come to the U.S. just to give birth? I've mentioned to you before, it's something I did a story about a long time ago, a small place doing it. But is it widespread, and what about this ban?
Yeah, Kate, that's a question. It's a thing. We've all heard about it, but how much of a thing is this? Because President Trump saying that it's enough of a problem to warrant this executive order, even after the Supreme Court said he would need Congress in order to change birthright citizenship in this country. We do know this fact, that there are 26,000 babies born to mothers on tourist visas out of an estimated 3.5 million births in the U.S. in that same time period per year. And so that would be those attributed to birth tourism. But it's very hard, Kate, to figure out who might be here as part of something they're being paid to do, that they're part of these birth tourism rings and they're coming here as a client of one of those companies to purposely have their baby here, or if they're simply a tourist in the U.S. who happens to have their baby while on vacation. And the way this would be enforced is a big question mark, because Customs and Border Protection officers would not want to be accused of discriminating against pregnant women traveling to the United States. So at this point, it is an order. It is certainly a message, but it is not yet completely enforceable. Kate.
Thank you. And Misty, the ACLU said in a statement, quote, any executive order that tries to rewrite birthright citizenship will meet the same fate as the last one. Do you see these new executive orders holding up to legal challenges?
I think you're going to see them challenged every which way. I mean, they're more narrow than what was thrown out by the Supreme Court in June. But I think what we're going to see is a different argument trying to maneuver and circumvent that Supreme Court decision. Remember, there are two exceptions that are long-standing exceptions to birthright citizenship. That is children of diplomats or ambassadors, or occupying and invading armies. And that's not something, occupying and invading armies, that we've had to deal with from a legal perspective. So is the next step for the Trump administration to change the definition of what qualifies under these two exceptions, change the definition of those legal terms to try and have a wider net of who could be denied birthright citizenship? So that could be another question for SCOTUS.
You just said that there's already a precedent for not including children born to foreign diplomats as U.S. citizens. Is that right? Like, why do we need this executive order if that's already the law?
Well, so the executive order actually goes beyond that, and it says those who are parents or members of a foreign terrorist organization. So there's a little bit more to these executive orders. So that's where you can see the administration trying to make arguments to get around what the Supreme Court has said. This is what the Constitution says. There was only one narrow avenue, which might have been to go to Congress, but this is obviously not being done in that manner. It's again an executive order. We're likely to see it back at SCOTUS.
All right, Misty Marris, Julia Ainsley, thank you.